Now that the most talked about prospects have officially turned pro in the Summer League, who are the best players outside of the NBA? Today I'm predicting which amateur ball players will develop into NBA All-Stars. Meet the next generation of top-notch basketball talent. Shout out from last vid goes to Jason, who said Knox looks like PG with his ball handling, Tatum with his shot, and Giannis on the fast break. You're giving K-Knox a lot to live up to there, but I see your point. For a shout out next vid, as always, stick around for today's question and leave your take down below. First off, it was tough to narrow this down to 6 guys. Picking this athletic freak, though, wasn't tough at all, as we just get to watch these mind-blowing jams. You've probably heard of Zion because of them, as he's racked up millions of YouTube views. He overpowers his opponents with both his massive frame at 6'6", 270 and speed at the same time in the open court. He weighs more than the majority of big men at his age, but just by looking at him you can tell that a majority of that weight is muscle. He's a natural-born scorer who seems to be going 100 miles per hour as he trucks down the court. Then he'll use brute force to elevate over defenders and finish. His post game is well-rounded, and he rebounds like a center on the offensive glass, making high schoolers look like 7th graders. He averaged 36.4 points per game in his senior year, along with 11.5 rebounds. The NBA is 1,000 times tougher than high school, obviously, so with his lack of a consistent jumper, will his game translate? Thing is, he's a top-notch defender who can guard a point guard all the way down to a power forward. Man has quick feet, lateral quickness, and of course the freaky hops, which all make him a future stud. Reminds me of the monster version of Lance Stevenson mixed with Bron. I think his shot will develop. I'm getting the 2, I guess you could say, obvious future stars out of the way before my 4 bold predictions, but I'm buying into the hype on both Zion and this guy, my fellow Torontonian, RJ Barrett, potentially the best all-around wing prospect in a very long time. Very few weaknesses in this dude's game. An excellent ball handler, playmaker, shot creator, finisher, defender. Maybe his outside shot needs a bit of work, but I'm nitpicking because it's pretty solid. Don't see a reason why he wouldn't be an all-star one day. You saw he was ranked number 1. But 5 years ago at this time, guess who was ranked the number 1 prospect in high school? Andrew Wiggins, and his career has been pretty damn underwhelming. We know what happened to Bennett. The only thing stopping Barrett may be the Canadian curse. We're staying international as I introduce yet another Australian phenom to the league. I guess there's only one in Ben Simmons, but there's a ton of Aussie players in the NBA. Josh Green, I don't think will just be another NBA player, as he has Simmons-like hops, but his shot mechanics and playmaking ability at a perfect 6'5" are why I think he'll be an all-star. Of course, you look at a dude's stature and athleticism when making a decision like that, but Josh Green's demeanor is really what makes him a special player. His high school coach calls him the silent assassin, and that he rarely shows his emotion. I think that's perfect for today's day and age in the NBA. This day and age period, not latching onto the ups, not getting caught up in the downs. Josh Green seemingly does that very well, and that type of presence is rare and help him make this top 6. Jalen Johnson, this dude doesn't graduate for another 2 years. He's our only prospect from the 2020 high school class, and he may just have the most potential out of anyone on this top 6. Now, NBA 2K18 was a brutal game, but what was the best build in my career? In my opinion, it was the point forward, and that's exactly what Jalen Johnson is, entering 11th grade. He's an astonishing 6'8", 215, an NBA frame already. Just look at this man fly down the lane. Does he look 16 to you? He's got some Paul Pierce ability with his shot creating. You saw the athlete he is. Got a very promising outside shot, but the point guard abilities are what make him stand out. Like Barrett, weaknesses are tough to find because it's not just his offensive game. He protects the rim and is quick laterally on defense. Jalen Johnson should be ranked number 1 in the 2020 class because he does everything you ask out of him on both sides at his position. Definitely a name to watch out for. James Wiseman is someone I can't leave off this list, even though it isn't a bold prediction. Let me shine some light on the big man prospect who has eyes on becoming the #1 pick in the 2020 draft. He will be a franchise player in the NBA, as his defensive awareness is something you would expect from a pro. It simply cannot be taught. The way he protects the rim is like Anthony Davis, and he may have the best lefty shot from a big man since Chris Bosh. But with a 7'6" wingspan, he scores the ball down low in places most NBA centers won't even be able to reach. He thrives off the lefty hook as he can elevate seamlessly over his defender. So far, these 5 stars of the future have one thing in common: excellent NBA bodies. Wiseman has the most impressive basketball frame out of anyone on this list. Generational NBA talent type potential. Come on, D-Flow, how are you putting a 5'11", 14-year-old on this list with a bunch of near NBA players? That ain't right. He's not just any 14-year-old, though. Stop it. He has legendary genes, all right? With what he's shown thus far on the court, along with all the hype he provides, I have to put him in this type of video. Can he really be an all-star? He's on this list. Of course he can be. I'll admit, he is the toughest to predict because of his age. I debated putting him on this list. But like I talked about with Josh Green earlier, his demeanor, you can tell he doesn't get rattled easily, which will help him. In terms of his on-court game, 3 things come to mind: ball handling, shooting mechanics, and defense, and one player comes to mind: Drew Holiday. No, he won't be as good as his dad. That's an impossible feat. But his dad's godly genes, mentally and physically, will have a profound impact on Bronny's basketball development. So that's why I take the chance on him, because I trust his growth mentally and physically. And from what he's shown, basketball comes naturally to him. Today's question is, who intrigues you the most out of any of these prospects? Or leave your opinion on Bronny James. Best answer gets featured at the beginning of next video. Subscribe for Hoops Talk all summer. See y'all next time. Thanks for watching.